Hi all, welcome back to the final whistle. It's match preview time then. Leicester City travel to St Andrews in the Midlands derby on Monday night. There'll be no Rooney versus Vardy, I'm afraid. Jamie Vardy is injured, so we all look forward to that one. The build-up in that to it, and then last minute, Jamie Vardy's injured. And, he won't be celebrating in front of Wayne Rooney, will he? So, we've now put it down to the Midlands derby. Birmingham, West Midlands, Leicester, East Midlands. Should be a cracking spectacle on Monday night. And, results when obviously Leicester's wait this afternoon with Ipswich drawing in the East Anglia derby to Norwich. And then Leeds drawing with Coventry. So, fantastic results around. Let's hope Leicester can follow up on Monday night against the Blues. Guys, as always, remember, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Let's see who's in the comments. And let's see who's in. Hello, my friend Scott. What are you saying, mate? I'm all right, thank you. Callum's in. How are you, Callum? Hope Arthur's watching EastEnders. Terry, mate. Probably watching Coronation Street. Hello, Casey. How are you, mate? You good, pal? Right then. I've got Mr. NS from Blues Focus, a Birmingham City podcast. They are going to join me now. NS, how are you, my friend?
How are you doing? I'm not doing too bad. We'll see. It might change rapidly by Monday night, but we'll have to see.
Yep. NS, tell everyone where they can find you, mate, and what you do at the Blues Focus. The Blues Focus.
Yes. Yeah, so I do TikTok mainly. So I do matchday vlogs on TikTok. I go by NS Blues, which I think you can see on the screen there. Yep. I also work for Blues Focus, so I do some bit of content creation there. I run their TikTok as well, and also just help out with behind the scenes stuff.
Fantastic. Before I start with the game itself and that, tell everyone your love for Birmingham City.
I didn't catch that. Sorry, mate.
What's your love for Birmingham City? Where did it all start? And who's your favourite player of all time?
Right. I'll go with favourite player of all time because that might link in. So I'd say Lukas Jukovic. He's been here for ages now. I think it's 9 years. And I think he's probably the player that I've seen most consistently along the way. And I'd say like growing up, like when I was quite young, I supported a Big 16, but it just didn't quite feel right for me. So I decided to support my local, and here we are.
As long as you didn't support the Villa, that's the main thing.
Yeah, that's the big thing. That is the big thing.
Yep. Talk to me about the opposition then. Birmingham City, 17th place in the Championship. I believe you got 26 points. Did have John Eustace at the start of the season. I mean, then you've now got Wayne Rooney, the new owners have come in and that. How have you found things with Birmingham City? Firstly, talk to me about the new owners.
Well, we've had Tom Wagner in. We've had a consortium with Tom Wagner and lots of American. He is a billionaire technically, and we've also had people like Tom Brady in, who's a minority stakeholder. So that's all really exciting. And if you look around St Andrews now, we've had the lower tiers finish. Finally, it's been 3 years. It's been terrible, but the ground's it's just needed that lick of paint, and they've given that. They've put money towards that. So under Eustace, especially, that kind of gave a great feel around the ground. I think everyone was happy, but obviously, it's quite quickly changed.
Yeah, what was your thoughts on the John Eustace leaving the club? I mean, was you surprised by the move? Would you have kept him? I mean, what was your thoughts on John Eustace as a manager?
I think he was it's difficult to explain because he suited what we needed at the time. The players that we had, he suited really well. The style of football that he played, it was short passes, quick passes, and just getting it as far away from the back line as possible. We don't want to mess around. That's the kind of football, and I was happy with that because at the end of the day, it got us results. Under Rooney, it's been a bit. We've been playing around the back, and we've seen some mistakes that have cost us points and things like that. So I think we've used this. I think everybody was kind of, although there was doubts at some points, I think it was Norwich result, which was really poor this season. Although there was some doubts, I think everybody was really on board with him. And because he was from Birmingham as well, I think the supporters kind of said that they saw Eustace as the person to take us forward.
Yeah, talk to me about Rooney's 10 games. How have you found the tenure under Wayne Rooney so far? Obviously, he's only had a handful of wins. Some Birmingham fans like the appointment. Obviously, some would say, you know what, it's not really the appointment we wanted. But how do you find the Rooney appointment, and how has Rooney changed things in the 10 games that he's been at Birmingham City?
So I went to 9 of the 10 games. So I've only seen 1 draw, or 2 draws, 1 win. But obviously we did win. We did beat Cardiff on the Wednesday night. So from what I've seen, it's been an interesting start. Every single game you can see, whether it be 10 minutes, whether it be a half, you can see what he's trying to do. But it's just how it's implemented. I mean, I've seen some of the worst football in probably about 5 or 6 years under Blues, and I've seen some of the worst football. But then at the same time, I've seen some of the better football. I've seen, I wouldn't go as far as Premiership football, but I've seen at least higher Championship tier football being played. But it's just consistency. 1 week we'll start off and we're looking fantastic. We'll look fantastic for 80 minutes. Last 10 minutes, we concede a goal, like what happened against Middlesbrough's first game. And then other games, we hadn't shown up. It was like, a non-league team or a lower division team playing against, a Championship team, which obviously it can't run. Some of the passes and things that we were making, the mistakes we were making, were just not Championship level.
Yeah, key players for you lot this season would obviously be Dembele, wouldn't it? Jay Stansfield up front.
Yeah.
Any more you would say key players for Birmingham this season who's impressed you the most?
Oh, it's got to be the left and right backs the full-backs when they're fit. Ethan Laird, obviously coming from QPR, fantastic footballer, honestly. But it's just when he's fit. He's actually injured against you guys. He got injured against what was the game before Cardiff? Can't remember off the top of my head, but he got injured, so he didn't play against Cardiff, and I don't think he'll be playing against you. Lee Buchanan, the other full-back on the left-hand side, he will be playing, I would presume. He's fantastic. He's got a good understanding of the game, and he knows how to track back when needs be. Other players, I think Sanderson's been quite consistent when he plays centre back. He's been good, and then all the other players, it's just we've got a lot of class players. We had a really good window, but it's just when they're consistent.
Yeah, it's fitting them all in. What was your expectations for Blues at the start of the season? Where did you have them to finish? And have you changed your mind now of where you thought they was going to be?
Well, I said at the start of the season we'd come 14th. Now, is that realistic now? I still think it is. I still think that we can have a turnaround. I think we will have a turnaround. But when it will happen, I'm not sure. There's not really been a clear path to when it might happen yet. But as it currently stands, I do think it will be another 18th, 19th season until we see this turnaround. I truly do believe that we will have a turnaround. We'll start picking up a few results, go on a bit of a run. which will hopefully bring us to 14th. But as it currently stands, it's going to be a relegation battle.
Yeah, quite a few of the teams won today, didn't they? And a few draws in there. Obviously, Huddersfield and Millwall.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of them. I mean, Sheffield Wednesday, BT Queen's Park Rangers in the relegation 6-pointer. Got good vlogs, this geezer. I think Ross might have watched some of your vlogs. Will you fill the stadium on Monday night? Is the stadium done?
Well, so at the moment, you won't probably know the stand names, but behind the goal on the far side, so that'll be opposite you if you go into the game. That's called Tilton. The lower tier has been finished on that, apart from the far left-hand corner. So that's done. And then the longest stand with 2 tiers, that's called the Cop. That has both tiers done, but we're not selling tickets towards the away end for, I think, safety concerns or something like that. So more or less a full allocation, but whether we sell it out, it's a different story.
Yeah, Roscoe's the name, the El Grassico. Some would call it the Wagger for Christie derby. Rooney versus Vardy. But we're going to get on to the Midlands derby. West Midlands versus East Midlands. Birmingham City versus Leicester is the Monday night football. A lot of expectation to this game going on Sky Sports with both Rooney and Vardy, the battle of both parties. We all thought we'd go and see that for part 2 on Monday night, but obviously that's not going to be the case as Jamie Vardy is injured. Talk to me about Leicester. I mean, what's been your thoughts on the Foxes?
I mean, you've been fantastic, haven't you? You've been really, really positive. Obviously, a lot of teams, I've seen it before. I think we've all seen it before. Team come down to the Championship, struggle to pick up the first few points and just kind of dwell on it for the rest of the season. But look, you've done really well. Lots of respect to you guys. You know, you've bounced straight back, and best of luck for the Premier League next season. Fingers crossed for you guys.
Yeah, I really hope that happens. But yeah, it's still a long way to go, isn't it? We're not even halfway through the season yet.
Yeah.
Right. Before we go on to team selection and all that, and the stats and that, talk to me about the game itself. How big of a game is this one for Birmingham City?
Well, it's interesting because I think in the Championship our biggest game is West Brom, and then other than that, we have like different tiers of games. I don't know, you probably have the same where it's Class A games, Class B games. So it is ranked as a Class A game.
Does he know Spyro? I bet he does.
I do know Spyro. He sits next to me. we're good mates.
There we go, Ross. Yeah, carry on.
So it's category A game, and I think it's actually I saw a newspaper article this morning. It's 45 quid for a ticket in the Cop against you guys. So obviously they're expecting a gate, but that is poor. That is really poor. 45 quid for a ticket is outrageous. It
is. This one's a big game, obviously, with the results going the way they was today with Leeds and Ipswich dropping points. I mean, this one's an ever more big game for Leicester. Midlands derby, Birmingham, Leicester have always had some great games over the years. But this is one where you can't overlook Birmingham by any stretch of the imagination, despite their form. We've got to obviously go in there, do our job. I do think we'll have enough quality to win the game myself. I do think the key players for Leicester will obviously be Dewsbury, Aldridge, Ndidis, Harry Winks, Patson Daka, Abdul Fatah, them sort of players. I do think with Leicester, we do like to keep the ball quite often. I don't think Birmingham will see much of the ball on Monday night. With Leicester, I want to keep it. But with Birmingham, I do feel they'll come and play. They'll give it a good go against Leicester. What is your thoughts on the game itself?
I think it's going to be a painful one. I really do.
You do?
I mean, only a season ago, I watched us lose 6-1 to Blackpool, who are below us. And we call it, I think it's a bit of a Blues curse. You never know what happens, honestly. You can, with this football team, you have no idea what can happen on a match day. I can show up to a game against bottom of the league and we could lose 3-0, we could go to the top of the division and we can beat them. So it's what football is about at the end of the day. You know, not really knowing what's going to happen, but I think I do know what's going to happen on Monday night, and it's not going to end in a Blues victory.
Talking about victories, your last victory at home was Sheffield Wednesday, 2-1 win was it? Then your very latest win was Cardiff away. I mean, how much of a big win was that one under Wayne Rooney with the amount of pressure he's under?
I think it was really good. I wasn't actually there, but I did watch it on Sky Sports. It was, I would say, it was unconvincing. 100%. We didn't 100% thoroughly deserve it. I wouldn't say. A lot of Cardiff fans were complaining on Twitter afterwards, saying there was a foul, in the build up to the goal. But look, I think we were the better team on the night, which is the first time this season. Honestly, even the Sheffield Wednesday game, we won 2-1, but we weren't the better team. We, even the Blues fans were admitting it after the game. Yeah, we weren't the better team. So it was the first game under Rooney, which I can wholeheartedly say, look, we were the better side. So that's a start.
Yeah, Neil Etheridge played for Birmingham City at Cardiff. How good are you guys attacking set pieces and that? How good are Birmingham when it comes to set pieces? I mean, would you say that's a weakness in your game, or would you say that's a more stronger point in your game if you go and flip the coin?
Well, it's a tough one. So last season we actually scored 5 corners. So that obviously you could see that as quite a strong point. This season we haven't scored one yet. By this point we'd already scored 3 goals from corners. So it looks like potentially we've lost that attribute that we had last season from set pieces. We scored a fantastic free kick against West Brom, but look, that's a local derby, so crazy things happen. But I think we've lost that attribute, and actually I think we've conceded 2 goals from free kicks that we've had, which seems crazy actually, but we've taken 2 free kicks and the other teams, kicked it up the other way and put 2 goals in. So yeah, not good.
Do you guys count Coventry as a derby? I mean, I obviously have to bring them up. They are in between, aren't they? Do you see Coventry as rivals at all? Obviously it's not going to be as big as Aston Villa, Birmingham, or as you focus on obviously West Brom and that. How do you see Coventry?
I mean, I can't say I love Coventry, but I wouldn't say that
I can agree with you on that
one. They do annoy me a lot, to be fair, but look, they don't really come near to West Brom or Villa. Let's be real here. Villa's it's a different level. Even West Brom, it's like 100 up here, 50 here, and then like a 10 or something like that down here. They're not really comparable. Every game's not really. They're different in their own way. I think Coventry, it's nice when we beat them because they're only a couple miles down the road. So it's nice when we beat them, but at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world for us.
Yeah. Do you think we'll bring anyone in January? And does NS Blues? Do you think Rooney will stay by the end of Jan?
Well, we've chucked 5.5 million at Rooney. That's how much his contract's rumoured to be worth, which is the second most expensive in the Championship, I believe. And which is I can't believe that either. But a 3.5-year contract as well. So he's contracted obviously a couple games in after Eustace left. And then from them to January, and then 3 years on top of that. So his contract will technically expire in, let me do the maths here, 2026. So look, we're strapped in with him for a long time, and it honestly depends. He will be here by the end of the season. Honestly, as long as we're above that relegation zone, he will be here to the end of the season. It would be embarrassing, I think, for the new owners. Really embarrassing. If number one, they had to pay out a £5.5 million paycheck, and number two, to sack a manager in which they told us that they were right over the fans. And that was the main upset about Eustace, I think. The fact that the owners, although when they came in, they promised that they'd listen to the fans and they'd make sure the fans were heard. Their first major decision was to go against the fans what the fans wanted. So I think it's, you know, it's divided the fan base.
Yeah, here's another one for you then, NS Blues. Another question for you then. Do you think what's happening with Rooney is the same as when you had Gianfranco Zola? You had 6th, then went down to 18th, and same's happened under Rooney. Would you agree with that sort of like experiment sort of how Cason's put that, or do you think it's too early to judge the comparison of Wayne Rooney and Gianfranco Zola?
I mean, Zola was miserable. Honestly, he was miserable. I love this club with all my heart, and that was one of the only periods where I genuinely thought, should I go down to the football next week? That's how bad it got. And after that Coventry game, it kind of made me think the same thing. The Tuesday night game against Cardiff, the one that we won. I'm still in college at the moment, so I don't usually travel away games on a weeknight. But even the small chance that I would have gone, I would have been put off by it, because at the end of the day, we're spending the Coventry tickets for 39 quid. So that's, money doesn't grow on trees. It costs us a lot as supporters to go to these games. And if you're going to go there, lose 2-0, the players, dancing around in the corner when we're 2-0 down, it's just not good enough. And it doesn't, as a supporter, it doesn't make you want to go to the next game. And that's our new owners, they keep talking about revenue this, revenue that, we want to bring more money in. Well, I think this has actually been worse for the club at the moment, bringing Rooney in. And going back to what you were saying about Zola, I do see comparisons. I do see the comparison works. Obviously, Zola, technically, if you look at the form chart, he was worse, but I'm still having that same feeling at the moment. But I do think that the club was more disheartened about Rooney, Eustace leaving than Gary Rowett. I don't know why, but just for some reason they were a lot more disheartened that Eustace got sacked.
Yeah, let's have a look at some stats then. Let me move that part out of the way. So head-to-head, 17th versus 1st. Played 21, 7-17. 5 draws to 1 draw, 9 defeats to 3 defeats. Then we move on to let's have a look, the Championship head-to-head. 8 played, 2 wins for Birmingham, 3 for Leicester, 3 draws. I'm going to ask you a question. What's your most memorable Birmingham-Leicester game, or Leicester-Birmingham?
Oh, I'm just trying to think now. Did I go to when was the last game? I can't think off the top of my head.
I think last time we played you was in the FA Cup at the King Power.
King Power. When you have to remind me when that was.
But I'm trying to think when it was myself.
I've got my laptop here. I might be able to see.
Let me have a look. See, I didn't think about the FA Cup.
Yeah, because I definitely remember them. It's just depending if I was at the game or not. Because then my memory will kick in. I haven't got the greatest of memory, so it'll kick in if I probably see the result or something like that. Just trying to have a look now. Does it show you previous games?
Let me have a look. Leicester versus Birmingham FA Cup. Let's have a look. Yeah, we beat you 1-0.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
Ricardo Pereira scored, I think, was it Mark Albrighton?
Yeah.
I dare say his name to you lot. Obviously, him being a Villa lad and all that. Yeah, that was last time we met in competition, was the FA Cup.
Yeah.
1-0 win for the Foxes. Obviously, you guys filled the away end, didn't you? You brought quite a few for that game.
Look,
yeah.
Yeah, I think we tend to. I think most games, obviously, as you said, it is a Midlands rivalry, so I think we will do it. It's not that far, the King Power. I'm just trying to think, because I have been to the King Power to watch Blues versus Leicester, but I can't remember when it was. I'm just trying to think.
I think last time we played you in the league was 2013-14 season.
Yeah, it might have actually been the FA Cup game,
was when you had that. I think you might have had Chris Burke at that point. It might have been when you had that. Was it like the greeny sort of kit, the yellow sort of kit, bright yellow?
Yeah. I remember. Yeah, and honestly, if you won, it was probably a forgettable result, to be fair. But look, I think Leicester, since you had your new owners come in. Well, they're not new now, but when they did come in, you've been managed quite well. I'm not sure about now. I think you've had a bit of financial issue, but you've done fantastic. So I think I'll be honest here. I'll say that we're not anywhere near your level or where you have been in the past few years. Obviously, champions of England. I'm sure you're going to let us know all about that on Monday night. I expect to hear that. But yeah, look, we haven't won anything of the sort. I think our last trophy, was the first division in 1938, something silly like that. So yeah, we haven't come anywhere near it at the moment. So
we won the Carling Cup.
Yeah, we won that as well. 2011.
You beat Arsenal. You did. I remember that. Let's see. There's a major trophy for you. If you want to talk about majors, I've got a friend of mine called Brummy Dave, and he's a big Birmingham fan, and he talks about that game quite well. Was it Obafemi Martins?
Yeah, Obafemi Martins.
You guys still celebrate that day, don't you?
Yeah, we still sing. It was his birthday not too long ago. I think it was in August or something like that. One of the first games of the season, and we still sing the same chant that we sang even back then. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the last 5 at St Andrews. 2014 2-1 win, which we're going to get onto in a minute. A 1-1 draw. 2012, 2011 2-0 to you guys. It's been a bit one of them. Leicester's won twice, drawn 2, lost 1 in the last 5. Then we get on to the last time the 2 sides visited. Yeah, Birmingham Leicester 2-1 defeat for you lot. Jamie Vardy and I believe Lloyd Dyer scored for Leicester that night. It was a night game. I remember it quite well. A bloody freezing cold night at St Andrews, but yeah, Jamie Vardy obviously got the winner for Leicester. That's that crucial second goal, and the Foxes went on to win the game. I don't know if you know much about that game, NS Blues. Were you there?
I don't think it was
2014.
Yeah, so my history's been like, so after COVID, I got my season ticket, and I've been going every single game home and away since. Yeah. Prior to that, I would go to, I'd say near the 10 mark of about 10 games a season. I'd still keep track of the games, watch it whenever I could. But yeah, I've been going every single game home and away after COVID.
Yeah, appreciate that. Respect the effort on that, innit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We do a thing called Foot in Both Camps.
All right.
I don't know if you remember much of these, but you obviously would have heard of them.
I do. I know all of them.
I tell you what, we'll start with Damari Gray. Scored in pre-season against Leicester, which was a worldie goal. Claudio Ranieri brought Damari Gray in. The figures with Damari Gray, the talent and that was there. It was just his ego.
Yeah, I've actually got a funny story about Damari Gray.
Cool.
I've met him. That's one. But more than met him, I've played football with him. He was scouted by my football coach for my junior team at the set time. He's a Blue Scout, and he came and saw to our team. He was still at Blues at the time, but yeah. So I've met Damari Gray. Yeah.
Local Hero Fan TV. I don't think so, mate. I ain't making a bloody channel anytime soon. Chris Wood. Chris Wood.
Chris Wood? Yeah,
Yeah.
I know Chris Wood, yeah. So I thought
What
the
was
audio
it?
cut out then.
What was he like for Birmingham?
Chris Wood. I think that was what year was that? Honestly, I don't know. I know the players, but I couldn't tell you about the time.
I think I remember him scoring against Leicester in the cup once when we played him in the FA Cup, Birmingham. It was the away game at St Andrews.
Yeah.
Good player for Leicester. Quite good at Birmingham, to be fair. Chris Wood scored a few goals for you lot. Then we talk about Muzzy Izzet. I mean, Muzzy Izzet was just a class player all round for Leicester. Great midfielder. Did alright at Blues. Robbie Savage, one of the biggest nuisances in football. I mean, you know what you're going to get when you play against a guy like Robbie Savage. He's a guy who likes to wind up the opposition. He's the biggest wind-up in English football, you know. And, I'm surprised he didn't bloody get many red cards, Mr. Robbie Savage. But, Robbie Savage made so many appearances for Leicester. Good midfielder in his time for the Foxes. Obviously joined Blues. Emil Heskey, another one who's been around the footballing world, hasn't he, with Newcastle Jets and Liverpool and Aston Villa. Obviously, local Leicester lad and that Emil Heskey. He's now does quite a bit with the Leicester City women's team. So, Emil Heskey, another goal scorer. Very good player. Bruno, next one is the team selection, NS Blues. I mean, what's the 11 for the Birmingham team?
Yeah, so Sanderson had a really strange injury. I think there's a bit of an issue. I think in the background of the camp at the moment. He's the captain, Dion Sanderson, one of our better players, centre back. I thought we were going to really struggle against Cardiff because he wasn't meant to be fit. But the night before the game, he declared himself unfit, but then he started. So that was bizarre. I don't actually think he actually had an injury. I think there's a bit of conflict between him and Rooney. So that's going to be a massive impact because our other two centre backs, so Emmanuel Ivu and Mark Roberts, they tend to find themselves out of position quite a lot.
Yeah.
It's obviously, I think it's actually to do with Rooney's tactic, playing from the back, moving the ball forward. So they get drawn out of position quite a lot, but Sanderson's kind of like the rock. He tells them when to come back, and he's the one that maintains a line basically. So if Sanderson doesn't play, that's going to be a massive hit because now we've got two centre backs that like to dribble forward, which is never a good sign.
No. So what sort of formation do you feel they'll put out, and what sort of team?
Yeah, so I think it worked against Cardiff 4-4-2, which is going back to what Eustace used to play. So that it will probably be Buchanan on the left, Lee Buchanan in the centre, Sanderson and Ivu. On the right hand side, I think Cody Drame if he's fit. In the middle, I think we'll have Bakuna, Christian Bielik, potentially Sunjic and Miyoshi, and then up front Stansfield and potentially Ollie Burke.
Is the goalkeeper John Ruddy by any chance?
The goalie will be John Ruddy, yes.
Bloody hell, I know you don't really rate him, do you, John Ruddy? I know he's made them one of the most saves this season as a keeper in the Championship. Leicester will go with Mads Hermansen. We'll obviously have Vestergaard, Fast, Ricardo, James Justin, Harry Winks, Kenny Dewsbury Hall, Wilfred Ndidi, Fatawu, Mavididi, and I think we'll go Patson Daka. I know Iheanacho will be fit. Obviously, Jamie Vardy won't be. He'll miss this one with obviously a knee injury. Mate, Ipswich 2-2 was a bonkers game. It bloody was. I watched the game on Sky. Ipswich are the better team by miles. It's about taking your chances and scoring the goals. That's how I think Leicester will line up. The last one is NS Blues, the score prediction, mate. I mean, what's your head and heart?
I mean, I do have a little, I do have a thing that I usually do because obviously in my matchday vlogs, I do a prediction before I start the game. I never predict Blues to lose. I never predict us to lose. but this might change that. I think this will have to change that. I'm going to be optimistic and say 1-0 Leicester. It could go into potentially, you could beat us by 3, something. You know, I saw the supercomputer predicted 5-1 or something like that. So it could be terrible. And I mean, you got Premier League, Premier League players. You reading out that list there, off the top of my head, I knew probably about 10 out of 11 of them. So, really well-known players, Premier League more or less level players, coming against, some of our lads like Mark Roberts, who, played in the lower leagues up until, last couple of years or something, So, look, it's going to be a test for us. It's going to be a massive test. If we can stay in the game, I think that's an achievement for us. But it's just to see. This will be just to see a basis of, number one, where Rooney's at tactically. Number two, to see where the team's at, and number three, to see if we have absolutely any chance at all of moving up the table. So it'll be a massive test for us, I think.
Yeah, this one's you got to say it's a tough game for Leicester, isn't it? This one, Birmingham, I think they'll give us a good game, make a good account of themselves for sure. They'll try and keep Leicester out for as long as possible, like other teams have. But this Championship's a difficult league. It's a tough league, you know what I mean? There's no sort of thing of saying you're going to batter teams in this league, because no matter how good your squad is, it just doesn't happen, You look at Leeds, the squad they've got, that they should be battering teams, but the Championship's not like that. I think Leicester win this one quite comfortably for me. I think we've got the goals in us. We've got the quality. It's about being clinical on the night, and I'm going to go 3-0 Leicester. I think we'll keep a clean sheet against Blues, but I think Birmingham will come and give it a good go. See, I think that's what will happen in the game. NS Blues, mate, before I let you go, pal, tell everyone where they can find you, mate, and what you do.
Yeah, so you can find me on TikTok. Like I said earlier, I do vlogs. NS Blues, it's literally the same as you can see on the screen there. And also on YouTube, if you want to just check out the vlog after the Leicester game on Monday night, we do vlogs for Blues Focus on there. So that's where you can find us.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it. And all the best for the rest of the season after Monday night.
You too. All the best.
Cheers, mate. That was NS Blues. Great chat talking about Birmingham Leicester. Well, bloody hell. I'd be surprised if that happens. But no, thank you to everybody who has watched the show. Really appreciate it. Hope everyone's enjoyed it. What's coming up on the final whistle there? So we've got the match day vlog for Birmingham versus Leicester on Monday night. That'll be out Tuesday. Then we've got the Championship predictions week 22. Go check that out to see what I predicted and see how many I actually got right for week 22. Probably not many. Looking at the crazy results today. But no, thank you for watching, everyone. If you've enjoyed the stream, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're new to the channel, you haven't subscribed already, please do so. It helps out massively. Take care. And yeah, I'll see you again for another stream very soon. Keep it here at the final whistle and have a great Saturday night, everyone. Up the Foxes. Come on, the Leicester. Hi all. Thank you for watching the final whistle. If you enjoy all our content, please remember to smash a like, share and subscribe to the channel.